It was interesting. We came to that title pretty late on the movie because I think all of us were so sick and tired of filming it because it took forever. Oh, no, sorry. That was just me adding that in. She said we were all so immersed in the creating of the story. Ooh. Hey everyone, Final Death Star here, and we're going to talk about an interview with our favorite president. That's right, you guessed it, Kathleen Kennedy. She gave an interview here with IO9, so this is coming off IO9, and let's get right to it because I know we're all just waiting with bated breath. Kathleen Kennedy on why The Rise of Skywalker revealed 2 of its villainous secrets in the trailers. All right, and here we have C-3PO getting rewired, being destroyed. Interviewing someone like Kathleen Kennedy isn't like interviewing an actor or director. As the president of Lucasfilm, she isn't just involved in what we see on the screen, she's involved in everything happening in Star Wars, from the marketing and publicity to the merchandising, theme parks, and more. That, right there, is part of the problem. And while IO9's interview with Kathleen Kennedy and fellow Rise of Skywalker producer Michelle Rizwan, I might be saying that incorrectly, I apologize, Rizwan, didn't get all of that, we did discuss some film matters beyond what you'll see on screen. Kennedy and Rizwan talked with us about why seemingly huge spoilers like Emperor Palpatine and Dark Rey were revealed in the marketing, the thought process behind releasing a full season of The Mandalorian alongside The Rise of Skywalker, the difficulty in choosing that title, and more. And there she is. Star Wars marketing is famously very secretive, and yet I feel like that changed a bit with Rise of Skywalker. Things like knowing the Emperor is back, or a quick glimpse into Dark Rey seems like they could have just been kept secret. So why would you say it's a fair assessment that the marketing this time around has purposefully been more revealing? And if so, why go that route? And then Kathleen Kennedy responds here. She says, I think that's a fair assessment because we're bringing this to a conclusion. Many of the characters that are playing a significant role in the story, the fans know. They don't know how the story is going to unfold, but they know who they are. It's not like Baby Yoda. We're not revealing something significant like that, and I think that is important to the story. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. She's saying that it's okay that they let all these big, spoilers because we already know the characters, right? And comparing it to Baby Yoda. But by that same logic, we didn't know Emperor Palpatine was alive. That was still a pretty big surprise. So to use that and then compare it with Baby Yoda, who, we don't know what it is yet, but I mean, why even keep that a secret? We know the Yoda species. We know who Yoda is. So why keep something like that a secret? What's the purpose? I think that's a not a good answer. You know why? Because she's covering up. It's clear that they marketed Palpatine because they didn't know what to do. They were in trouble. They needed nostalgia. They needed a character to try to bring back the fan base. And they figured Palpatine was maybe going to do the trick. And, it's yet to see, yet to be determined. But I don't think that banking on nostalgia alone is going to cut it. She's trying to play damage control with this whole thing because they know they're in trouble. That's the real reason that Palpatine was brought back and marketed as such. Why Dark Rey was shown in there. They know they need excitement for this film, so they're trying to show you as much as they can to try to get you interested in this. We're not trying to be coy or unnecessarily clever, and we have had a lot of conversation about that. We certainly teased Palpatine, but we arrived at a decision pretty early on, right around Celebration, that we were like, wait a minute, the fans are going to want that. We need to be somewhat more open than we would normally be because there isn't something to hide there. There's actually something to tantalize everybody with, to let speculation be a part of the conversation. And that's always been such a great thing about Star Wars, is that the fans are so engaged, and we felt that with this story, that should be allowed to happen. Yeah, well, why not tantalize? Why not give a little tantalizing piece of information with Baby Yoda? Why not show a little glimpse of that? That would have given the same kind of excitement and talk around town about the Mandalorian show. But no, you didn't do that. You're doing it with Episode 9, though. You know, it's like you're saying it works on one hand, but it doesn't work on the other hand. IO9 goes on and asks, after discussions that Solo may have come out too soon after The Last Jedi, I was surprised when I heard the entirety of The Mandalorian would be out before the end of the year, at the same time as Rise of Skywalker was in the theaters. Was there ever any worry that having the show and the movie come at the same time could cannibalize each other in any kind of way? And then Kathleen Kennedy goes on to respond, I don't think there was any worry about that, and I think we've been pleasantly surprised. We're going into television. We've never done live-action television for Star Wars, so yes, there's an unknown, and I suppose you could say there was an underlying risk, but what we absolutely knew is that they were very different in look and feel, and we're not in any way trying to do the same thing. So we arrived at the point of view pretty early that we thought the two could live comfortably side by side. And I actually think fans are having fun with The Mandalorian, and I think it will only help The Rise of Skywalker. There you are. That right there is why it's released at the same time. Because they need all the help they can get. And she says it right here. It can only help Rise of Skywalker. Should a movie like that need any help? Should the conclusion to a 40 years of movies need any help from a TV show, a first TV show, a trial period in Star Wars? Should a movie that big, conclusion of a trilogy, conclusion of a saga, should it need any help? With the name Star Wars on it? Ask yourself that. And also, I would bring up the point that Solo was very different from The Last Jedi in feel and what they were trying to do. Look, it was not at all the same movie. And yet, Bob Iger very famously said that it was, oversaturation of Star Wars, too much Star Wars overkill, Star Wars fatigue, they even called it. So why would you have a problem there, but then no such problem because it's a TV show? It should not make any difference. Yet Kathleen Kennedy says it's okay here, and Bob Iger says, well, there's too much, there. So it's just total confusion, total lack of understanding of what they have here. I mean, that's just over and over. The Last Jedi is a title that Rian Johnson had very early on, taken from the crawl of The Force Awakens. Was The Rise of Skywalker a more difficult title to come up with? And how did that process go? And she says, yeah, it was. And then Michelle answers, it actually was. And then Kennedy says, yeah. Yeah, it was. It actually was. Yeah. I mean, I think every Star Wars title is very important, and so we spent a lot of time thinking about it. I think they flipped a coin. It was interesting. We came to that title pretty late on the movie because I think all of us were so sick and tired of filming it because it took forever. Oh, no, sorry. That was just me adding that in. She said we were all so immersed in the creating of the story. Ooh. And I'm a big believer that I think the author should fundamentally drive the title. And Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams writing the script, it was important to let them really spend time with understanding what it was and all the nuances of what the mysteries were that were being revealed. The mysteries of what? I thought you said earlier on that everyone knew the characters and that there weren't that much mystery, but now there's all these mysteries. So I think you'll find when you see the movie, it was a very apt title. Yeah. If it's Rey saying that, she takes on the mantle of the name Skywalker, then I don't think anyone's going to be pleased with that. Sticking with The Last Jedi, the film ends with a boy using the Force to grab a broom. We haven't seen much of that idea in the trailer, so I'm wondering, does Rise of Skywalker deal with the idea of what the Force could come to be in the future of Star Wars? Oh my God, though, that's who the last Skywalker is. It's going to be a little broom boy. He's going to be back at the end of the movie with his little broom, and he's going to just sweep away the remnants of the ashes of Palpatine once and for all. That's who the last Skywalker is. Oh my gosh. Okay, Kennedy answers, what the Force means lying ahead, I think is Star Wars. It certainly is a part of what Episode 9 is, but the Force is a huge part of the conversation about where we are going and what the future of Star Wars is. And once we move on from Episode 9, we start telling new stories. The Force is the foundation of Star Wars. George Lucas is the foundation of Star Wars, and you kicked him out a while ago. And the mystery and continued discovery is part of what makes it so special. How does Luke's death in the last film weigh on this film, especially on Leia and Rey? IO9 asks. Michelle Rajan answers, it's interesting because part of what makes Episode 9 unique to the trilogy is, for the first time, it really is on our generation's shoulders. The stakes have never been bigger. And the question, thematically, was very important to Chris and JJ of rising up to the challenge. When you don't have the mentors you once did for guidance because you kicked them out. They gave you the blueprint and you said, no thanks. You're not on your own. You're on your own because you want to be. It's kind of like a classic metaphor of coming to age and growing up and stepping into that larger world of your own. Have you assimilated the knowledge, the lessons, your own values, and your own choices that will inform that and not only inform who you are, the stakes and fate of the galaxy as well? I don't think that was correctly translated because that sentence makes no sense. So that feels actually quite appropriate for the movie. Okay, again, thank you for that answer. And let's ask again, how does Luke's death weigh on this film? You didn't answer that at all. There was nowhere in that rambling that she answers the question of how Luke's death impacts us. This is just a clear example of the fact that they don't know what they're doing. They're giving answers that don't make sense. They're contradicting themselves. They're contradicting other answers that have been given by Bob Iger. They're just trying to build anticipation for this movie that's not there. That's why Palpatine was in the trailer. That's why you see Dark Rey. That's why The Mandalorian is out right now, right as the movie comes out, to try to build. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy says it right here that I think it will only help the rise of Skywalker because they know they need help right now. So there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Please do like this video and share it. Let's all pray for a better day with Star Wars. That sometime, somewhere down the line, things will change and it can get better. I hope. We'll see. I don't know. Mandalorian's been pretty, so far good. The last 2 episodes I was okay on, not great, but not bad. First 3 were pretty strong. We'll see where it goes from there, but it needs a lot of help. This, Star Wars needs a lot of help right now. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.